Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I know finding time on a workday is hard. On behalf of the entire Split team, welcome. We've got a great lineup of content over here today from industry experts. Again, this is not a Split conference in the sense that we're not going to be presenting our product or anything like that. This is an industry conference. And when we talk about the industry, I want to start framing the conversation by talking about a trend that we're all aware of. I want to start talking about the 90s, right? Now, I know some of you were just getting born in the 90s, but for the rest of us, we had careers in the 90s, or we were starting our careers in the 90s, right? And an interesting thing happened then. The Windows XP was born back then, right? Now, Windows XP is arguably one of the most successful software products of all times. How successful was it? Till even about 2012, the majority of world's desktop computers were running XP. Even today, in North Korea, 20% of machines are running XP, according to Wikipedia. Clearly, the dear leader loves the XP, but I digress. The point being that we were moving very slow, right? But over the years, our industry has gotten faster and faster. It's almost like our own Moore's Law, right? Where every 5 years, the industry becomes faster by an order of magnitude, right? So that today, the same companies or the advanced companies in our industry are delivering software hundreds, if not thousands of times a day. That again includes Microsoft, the people behind the XP. In fact, according to Amazon, they do a deploy to their production servers every 8.5 seconds. Right? So if we step back, we can begin to see a trend that we're all intuitively aware of, but we don't spend enough time appreciating the impact it has had on our lives, both as creators and consumers of technology. Right? So summary thought is engineering teams are moving faster than ever before. But I hope that all of us can agree on one point, which is what matters is not speed of delivering releases, but speed of delivering value. Because no one in this room ever wants to work in a team where they're just shipping shitty software faster, right? Because that's not the end goal. Right? And if I go around the room, I would bet that if I asked us, are you delivering value to your customers? Most of us would probably say, yeah, of course, our software delivers a lot of value, right? But let me deflate that just a little bit. And I'll share this point from one of our speakers today, Ronnie Kohavi, who is the technical fellow and VP of Analytics and Experimentation, Microsoft, one of the gods of experimentation. He says that between 80 to 90% of features or of experiments that they run at Bing have negative or neutral impact on the metrics they were designed to improve. 80 to 90%. And now this problem is not specific to Bing. It exists at Google, it exists at Amazon, and for guess what? It exists at your company and mine, right? It's just that the difference between us and them is that oftentimes if I go around, I would bet that the average company is not aware of what that number is or doesn't even have the tooling to understand, hey, what is working, what is not working, right? And so this leads us to a world where at least we have to appreciate this fact that every feature that is delivered should be considered feature debt until it delivers value, right? And value is all about measurement. Now, armed with that data, if we look at Microsoft, right, they took that understanding, they took that data-driven decision-making that they were doing to guide their investment decisions, to double down on what was working, to reiterate on things that were not, and to completely abandon things that may have been widely held beliefs but did not work out in the market. They abandoned those things, and as a direct result of that, they were able to raise their search market share from 8% back in 2009 to north of 23% today. That is a phenomenal improvement in search, right? Given how strong the incumbent is, Google. In the face of that, they use the data-driven decision-making to power that improvement. So to bring these two trends together, in general, what I would say is that software delivery is all about rapid and valuable delivery. And none of this is new, by the way. I mean, we all know this was part of the Agile principles that were laid out so many years ago, but it's just that our reality is beginning to catch up to what we wanted or where we wanted the world to go. And these two trends are impacting our teams so that product management, engineering, and data scientists is coming together as a single unit. Right? We're no longer separate teams, right? We're beginning to come together. If you work in an environment where your product manager and your data scientist share the same set of OKRs as you as an engineer, then you have that nuclear team that's working together with a shared vision, a shared set of responsibilities, and a shared set of tooling that helps them move faster and deliver better decisions. Not only that, but also this is changing the way we operate, right? The way we work. We're moving away from a world where we were primarily focused on outcomes to a world where we were focused on outputs, to a world where we're focusing on outcomes as well. And I don't want to simplify things too much by saying boo, outputs, yay, outcomes, right? I mean, that's not what the point is over here. The point is that outputs separated from outcomes does not do any good. We have to combine those two things together. And when we begin to measure outcomes, that's the first step towards better decision making, right? Decisions about what to build, about how to build it, and about the value of what just got built. And that is what this conference is all about better decision making for engineers and product managers. Now, I want to quickly dive into a little bit of what the topic is wide, but I want to kind of narrow it down to the type of things that we're concerned about, the characteristics of these decisions. 3 things I would say. Number 1 is that these decisions are coming faster and faster at us, right? Back when we were delivering software once a quarter, once a year, we could take our time, we could think, we could breathe. But today, we've got so many, when we're delivering software once a week, once a day, once an hour, we're having to make critical decisions along the way that are much, much quicker, right? Not only that, but they're also coming earlier in the life cycle. I still remember a time where as an engineer, my job was to take a PRD and to convert that into an application. And at best, once I launched the application, I took care of the monitoring part of things. I never really thought about outcomes, value. How did I impact my customers? But today, we're having to make decisions about the product early in the life cycle, at inception time, at justification time, at each iteration along the way, all the way to launch, right? And then finally, we're creating new decision makers. Back when we did not have data to power decisions, it was all about gut and opinions. And when it's a clash of opinions, guess whose opinion matters the most? The person with the biggest paycheck, right? The hippo, the highest paid person in the room. And we're going to talk a lot about that person in this conference as well. But now you and I, the product manager and engineer, we can make decisions on behalf of our customers, on behalf of our businesses, critical decisions early and often in the life cycle. And so there's a cultural shift that's beginning to come to life, and that cultural shift requires a new set of tools. And that's what we're going to be discussing in today's conference, the tools and the culture of decision-making, because decision-making is, in general, a broad category. We want to narrow it down to things that are more narrowly tied with engineering and product management. So as the curators of this conference, we've decided to pick 6 key topics that are going to form the pillars of the discussion. The first 2 are more tied to rapid delivery. The next 3 are tied to valuable delivery, and the last one is culture that permeates everything. So the first 2 are going to be continuous delivery and cloud native. Continuous delivery, for those of you who don't know, is simply the set of tools and processes you put in place to make sure that your code is in deployable state at any given point in time, right? Cloud native is a set of architectural changes that you make in order to make sure that you're ready for a cloud-based world, right? So you can move faster. What is experimentation? Experimentation is simply the measurement paradigm for this continuous world that says, what if we applied A/B testing thinking to software releases at a high level? That's how I would describe it. Product analytics helps you understand the overall behavior of your customers at an aggregate level. We're going to be talking also about performance monitoring and how performance monitoring is improving as we move faster and faster, right? Moving away from what is broken to why is it broken. And finally, process and culture, because at the end of the day, all these tools are there to help you encode a culture. If you don't make the cultural transformation, the tools are valueless, or they don't deliver the value that you intended. So the primary objective is to change our culture, right? And that's part of what we're going to be talking about. So real quick, I want to run down the list of quick speakers and introduce them to you. I'm incredibly grateful to each and every one of these speakers. Many of them are my personal mentors, people that I've learned a lot from over the course of the years, and I'm incredibly proud that they're here at this inaugural conference, and I hope you'll find value from their conversations as well. So at a quick level, our keynote speaker, I'm really grateful for the presence of MJ Hegar. MJ is not a product manager or an engineer. She is a decorated war hero who did 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan. And she was awarded the Purple Heart for her bravery in battle. Now, MJ is going to be talking about how life and death decisions that she took cued her into this idea of leadership and how you can be a change agent wherever you are, and that can be a valuable lesson for all of us, and I'm really looking forward to her talk. Next up, we've got Dan DeMeyer, a VP of Engineering and Product at ThreadUp, one of our valued customers that I really look up to, and he's going to be talking about his continuous delivery journey at ThreadUp. We also have Jez Humble, Mr. Continuous Delivery himself. He needs no introduction. My rule of thumb with Jez is anytime he speaks, I shut up and listen because there are pearls of wisdom coming out of his mouth. So I think you'll enjoy his conversation as well. On the cloud native front, we've got Joe Beda, one of the co-creators of Kubernetes. Yes, the Kubernetes. And he's going to be talking about how this emerging battle between the Fords and the Teslas of the world, where Ford is learning how to become a tech company and Tesla is learning how to become a car company. What can we learn as technologists from that, especially around cloud native? On experimentation, we've got 3 amazing speakers. I talked about Ronnie up front. Ronnie is going to be talking about his lessons learned over the last 10 years in running experimentation for Microsoft. We've also got my personal mentor, Ya Xu, who's the head of experimentation and analytics at LinkedIn. Ya has overseen a phenomenal cultural change in the data-driven view of the world of LinkedIn during her time at LinkedIn. And she's going to be talking about her learnings from creating that cultural change within the company. Because a lot of experimentation, while it's a set of tools, it's also about a cultural change, and we're looking forward to that conversation. We've also got Sophie Harper. She's a growth experimentation manager at Skyscanner, who's going to be talking about, well, great, Ronnie and Ya motivated us to think about experimentation. Well, if you want to get started on it, what are the first 5 to 10 steps you need to take? And that's what her focus is going to be. From there, product analytics, Dan Olson and Manu Sharma. Dan Olson is a product thinker who's going to be talking about product analytics and how they apply to better decision-making in a product-driven world. Manu Sharma, he's built data science teams at companies like Envision, at LinkedIn, at Shopkick. And his specialty is in tying data science to business outcomes. And I'm really looking forward to his conversation because it's one of those things where a lot of companies suffer from data science teams that kind of are not tied to business decisions, right? So that's what he's going to be talking about. And finally, John Cutler, I'm really proud to have him speak today as well. John Cutler is a product thinker who ties together ideas around culture and process into very, very bite-sized chunks that are easy to implement and understand. He's going to be talking about moving beyond the simplistic idea of outputs and outcomes. So in summary, I missed out. Kishore, one of my friends, who is a senior staff software engineer at LinkedIn. He has spent the last 8 years thinking about analytical systems, and he has built Third Eye, or he's part of the team that built Third Eye, a modern monitoring system that helps ask the question, not only what is broken, but why is it broken, right? So he's going to be presenting on his work over there. So in summary, these are the key pillars of decision-making. In the end, I want to quickly introduce the movement from Google Slides to presentation mode made the E go down, so bad decision on my part. I'm not looking at it. But in any case, what's an inaugural conference without bloopers, right? As long as I don't fall off the stage, that's all that matters. That's the bar that I've set for myself. In any case, I want to quickly introduce Split to you because this is, again, not a user conference. This is an industry conference, but it's worth knowing your host and why this host decided to put together this conference. Now, we believe in the same, we care about the same set of problems that clearly all of you care about as well, and that's why we thought we would broker a conversation and bring all of you together. Now, what does Split do? Split helps engineering and product teams rapidly and safely deliver valuable software. Now, a lot of companies say that. What is our unique pole in the tent? We do that by providing a unified solution for feature flagging and experimentation. The engineers in the house probably know what feature flagging is, but since about roughly 30% of you are product managers, the feature flagging is simply this concept of what if you had a dial in the cloud that you could tack along to any feature, whether in the UI or in the back end. If you turn the dial up, more and more users get exposed to it. If you turn the dial down, less users get exposed to it. And what that concept gives you, it gives you safety. It gives you safety in your production environment, which in turn gives you speed. What is experimentation? Experimentation is measurement tied to that feature flag, right? So that you can understand, now that I've rolled something out to 5 to 10% of my customers, what is the impact on the metrics that I wanted to see, right? So that's what we do, feature flagging and experimentation. Feature flagging part of continuous delivery, experimentation part of to drive better decision making. And we do all of that so that we can power your product decisions. So that's what we do. In summary, thank you so much again for coming, all of you. I'm incredibly excited about the program that we've put together. The difference between a good conference and a great conference is partly content, but it's partly dependent upon you, the audience, right? And how you engage with the speakers, how you engage with each other. We've all been to conferences where people take notes and they move on, right? And those tend to be the less interesting ones. So take the time to interact with each other, to interact with the speakers. We've got a Slack channel built so that you can continue the conversations with the speakers afterwards. Please to take use of that. Thank you so much again, and look forward to an exciting day.
Well, I'd do anything for a blind eye.